And welcome to Labor Day. I hope you really enjoyed it. You know, it's a tradition dating back to the very first celebration of labor in 1882. With the holiday in mind, we thought it would be a good idea to check in on the strength of organized labor in America today and right here in the Northwest. And so that is our big story tonight. Public support for unions is high, somewhere around 67% in America, according to Gallup polls in 2023. But has that popularity really moved the needle in terms of growth for unions? Well, let's take a look at the numbers nationally. Our source is the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics. The most recent full-year numbers they have are for 2023, so we're going to go with that. The percent of all wage and salary workers in America who were union members was 10%. The number is down just a hair from 2022 when it was 10.1%. The actual number of people that represents is still large, 14.4 million people in 2023. Now, the first year this sort of data was collected by the Bureau of Labor Statistics was way back in 1983, and unions were much stronger then. 20.1% of the workforce were members of unions in 1983, which represented 17.7 million people. Let's keep going with the high-level look at unions, though. The highest membership rate was in the public sector at 32.5%, and that's more than 5 times as high as the private sector, which is just around 6% nationally. Industries with the highest percentage of union workers include education, training, and library workers. Yeah, that's all one group, with 32.7%, and protective services occupations. I think that's like police and firefighters. That's nearly 32%. Union workers had median weekly earnings that were 14% higher than non-union folks, by the way. Among the states, Hawaii and New York had the highest union membership rates, Hawaii at 24%, New York at 21%. The Carolinas had the lowest union membership rates, roughly 3% for North Carolina, 2% for South Carolina. And if you're following the presidential campaigns, you know each side is working hard to win over the union vote. Here's J.D. Vance last week in Boston talking to the firefighters union.
President Trump and I are proud to be the most pro-worker Republican ticket in history, and I want to talk about why we're fighting for working people, why we're going to fight for unions and non-union alike.
Sounded like kind of a rough crowd there. In Detroit, Kamala Harris celebrated today with union workers there.
For generations in Detroit and across our nation, the brothers and sisters of labor have stood together to righteously demand fair pay, better benefits, and safe working conditions. And let me say, every person in our nation has benefited from that work.
Okay, so that's a look at the national scene. Now let's dip into some local union stats. We're using the same source, the Bureau of Labor Statistics for 2023. It shows that in Washington state, there are 576,000 union members. They represent 16.5% of the workforce there. California has 2.5 million union members, which represents 15.4% of everyone working in that state. And in Oregon, there are about 255,000 union members, and that represents 14% of the workforce. And by the way, I am one of those union members. KGW is the only shop in Portland where the reporters and the on-air anchors are union members. We belong to SAG-AFTRA. I've been a member for 34 years. Now, whether you think unions are good or evil is up to you, but you cannot dispute that they are a powerful influence in some areas of Oregon, especially when it comes to fighting for public employees. Here's an open letter the union SEIU posted last July. By the way, they represent roughly 22,000 of Oregon's 45,000 state workers. The union won workers 2 cost of living raises, one in December of 2023, another on January 1st of 2025. They total 13%. Workers also got a one-time $1,500 bonus and were eligible for their normal raises for merit. Union negotiators were quite proud of the COLA increases, as they're called. Our 13.5% COLA over 2 years is the highest of any recent state employee contract we could find in the country. And the letter makes it clear that Oregon's elected officials, which get significant help from unions in winning those elections, well, those elected officials made the big increase possible. If Tina Kotek was not our governor and pro-worker majorities weren't in both the House and the Senate, things would look very different, the letter says. All right, let's get your take on unions, both here at home and across the country. We'll hear about them more often as we get closer to November. In the meantime, we'd love to hear from you. What do you think about them? Email us, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.